looks like this. I've adjusted my stitch length here. My stitch width is on 0 because this is zigzag, and now it should sew straight for me. So I'm going to turn this back around again. And as I said, we test it out by just using the flower wheel first. It's moving very nicely through the fabric, lovely oil, and it's working really well at the moment. So I'm happy that I'm not going to break anything by putting my foot onto the pedal and put power to the motor and let it run. But I do it gingerly to start with, very gently. And it doesn't work. You know why? Because I unplugged it. Because I was a good girl for 5 seconds to do the light bulb. Right, she's on. The power is now on. And I put my foot down very gently, let the machine start to do stitches for me. And then if I can see really nice stitches forming, I can do a little bit more. But you might want to check the underneath side to see your bobbin stitches before you do anything else. I mean, wow, what can I say? All I've done is given her a good clean, an oil, new needle, good quality thread. Mine is Gutermann. Very good quality needle, a Schmetz universal needle, and you won't believe how beautiful the stitch is straight off. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Not only that, if I take it off the machine now and I snip the threads, I'm going to show you why we do 2 different colors. To check whether your bobbin or your top thread is causing your issue, you do 2 different colors, because if there's a tension issue, the one will pull the other thread through. So in other words, the top thread will either get pulled through to the back, and you would see white coming through here on these red stitches, or the bobbin thread is pulled upwards and shows here on the white top thread. Now, it's not doing either. I mean, seriously, the tension is absolutely spot on. The only thing is the stitch length is very short, so it's puckering the fabric a little. And that may be to do with how heavily the presser foot is pressing down. So this button here gives more pressure to your presser foot, or less pressure, depending on the type of fabric. And that means that on, oh gosh, what's it on, 2 at the moment? It's probably a little bit low. I can dial this down a little bit and retest it. Old machines, hold your threads when you start, dial the needle into the fabric, and then only do you start sewing. Honestly, might sound like a bit of a pain every time, but when you have knotted up and had to pull this off your machine and unknot and rethread your machine 20 times, you will realize how easy it is to hold your threads, make sure your needle is into the fabric before you press your presser foot. Do a couple of stitches and then release your threads. And right, so gosh, that stitch is now even better. So I've got it onto a 4 on the front, on the thread, and now what I'm going to do is just lengthen the stitch length to see how it works. Put the needle down so I can do a turn, and then come back the other way. The machine is running absolutely impeccably. So the next thing I do is test for zigzag. Now, if you're going to have any problems with your tension not being 100%, usually it's when you try and run a zigzag stitch. And yeah, we're getting a little bit of bobbin pulling up, but none pulling down, which means our bobbin tension might need to be adjusted. But honestly, it's practically perfect. I wouldn't mess with it. I really don't think I would mess with it. I can try turning this one down or up a little just to see what it does. That's made it, I think, a little bit worse. So I've done the other direction. But quite frankly, it's doing a beautiful stitch. And I think we're happy with that. So we'll go back one more round doing a straight stitch to check that we've got all of the oil that is excess in the machine off, because it will pick it up when the thread wraps around the bobbin race and the bobbin case. It will pick up any loose oil or excess oil that's on there, and that will come through on your thread. And once you've done a few rows of stitches, you know that you're not going to get oil onto your garment. So there we have it. The machine is running absolutely beautifully. The only thing I haven't tested on it yet is whether the bobbin winder is working, and I will do that next when I run out of bobbin. But there you go. This machine has now had a general service, a good oil, and a really good clean, and she's working probably as well as she did when she was bought the first day. Now, you can definitely do all of that yourself, without a doubt. Just get stuck in. Don't be scared of the machine. You know what? Take control for a change and just say, I can do this. And even if you don't do it perfectly, it's going to be better than it was the first time round. So there you go, folks. I hope if you've got an old machine, you'll have enjoyed seeing how I look after them and how I maintain them for our sewing groups and what I do with them before I sell them on to other people or gift them to other people in the community. Thank you for joining me. This is Michelle over at Hesketh Emporium. You have a fabulous day. All the best. Bye.